Greetings. Welcome to another broadcast of I Have a Testimony. I'm your host, Brother Willie Muhammad.
God came to us to seek and to save that which was lost. He raised a man from among us.
He, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, laid the foundation. What I'm doing is something that comes from him through me, and the thing that he uses in me to do the work is my faith in him and the word that he taught. To produce men and women who wanted to clean up their life and build an independent nation for the glory of God.
Today, brothers and sisters, we're blessed to have with us as a guest, Brother John C. Muhammad. I first met this young brother when I was invited to Mosque number 28 in St. Louis. And from the very first time meeting him, I was impressed with this young brother. When I met him, he was just getting his feet wet in the field of politics. He was taking on a political opponent who had the backing of the political elite there in the city and also had a larger, I guess I'd say a war chest, right? Yet Brother John had, by that time, had knocked on every door in his district. And he lost that first election by a small number of votes. But that loss was only preparation for our brother to come and score another triumph victory in politics, because that experience was a test run, because in 2017, he would be elected as the youngest and the first Muslim to be elected as alderman in the city of St. Louis. Our brother has used his position and continues to use his position to fight and advocate on the behalf of our community and all of his constituents there in the city, as shown in this clip.
Our communities are under attack by Better Together and its blind call for a merger between the city of St. Louis and St. Louis County. The current process and plan presented by Better Together, with the support of our mayor and St. Louis County executive, is a slap in the face of democracy and voters in the city of St. Louis. The plan was developed in the dark. The plan was developed without civic engagement. In its very nature, does not include community participation or inclusion. The process is a slap in the face of freedom to any resident of the city of St. Louis. It's a slap in the face to voters, where the city is telling them that we will not guarantee their freedom or their choice in deciding who their government officials are. This plan will dilute and drastically affect African American leadership, something that this city and this region have fought hard over the years to obtain. This is moving backwards, not forward. I stand in opposition. We stand in opposition to any merger in this current plan.
Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Wa alaikum salam, brother student minister.
We thank you, my brother, for accepting our invitation, and we're going to get right down to this interview. And one of the questions I want to ask is that, you know, one of the joys of doing this show is that I get the opportunity to allow the audience as well to hear about the stories of how people came into knowledge about the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam. So I would like to begin this interview by giving you the opportunity to tell your story, your testimony. How did you become knowledgeable of the teachings and eventually become a member?
Well, thank you, brother student minister, and let me say thank you. I'm so humbled for having me on your show, which I am a fan of. Thank you so much for inviting me. I've always believed in Islam. I had various introductions to Islam, whether it was through the Sunni community, whether it was through the Moorish Science Temple, or through the Nation of Islam. Before joining the Nation of Islam, I was a member of the Moorish Science Temple here in St. Louis under the Grand Body, being led by Grand Sheikh Todd Ernst L. And I was always in search of something that I felt a part of. And I knew Islam was it, but I was looking for a perfection of Islam that gravitated towards me and gravitated towards my experiences. And it was in 2010 when I met student minister Donald Muhammad of Muhammad Mosque number 28. And from there, we had a connection in just seeing how he moves in the community and further studying the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I knew that my home was in the Nation of Islam. So that's how I joined the Nation of Islam, that Islam was our religion. I knew that Islam was our culture, but I was in search of someone who could teach me how to practice Islam the best way possible as a young Black man in America.
Thank you for that response, man. Thank you for that. And next question I want to ask you, as I mentioned, talking about how you were elected in 2017 to the political position as of an alderman. And then you were reelected even in 2021. So my question I would like to ask you, what is an alderman and what are some of the responsibilities of this political office?
Absolutely, brother minister. An alderman is a fighter, first and foremost. It is a fighter. An alderman is a member of the legislative branch of government for the city of St. Louis. My main responsibilities includes writing laws, drafting policies, making sure that our legislative branch of government is moving effectively and efficiently, monitoring city agencies and city departments and making sure that they are deliberately delivering city services for our city residents, especially our city's most disenfranchised and marginalized communities. But outside of that, the unofficial title is a cheerleader. An alderman is a cheerleader for the community they represent. An alderman is a first line of defense for his community, making sure that our community has the access and for backing and for support of city government. So people would always ask me that, what do you do as an alderman, John? What do you do, Mr. Muhammad? And I would say I'm a janitor. My job is to clean up the mess that has happened to my community, to clean up the neglect that has plagued my community. When I say neglect, I mean the depopulation. I mean the failing school districts. I mean the intentional disinvestment in North St. Louis, the intentional disinvestment in Black St. Louis. My job is to clean that up. My job is to turn that around. My job is to create progress and create development. And my job is to get you to believe in the city of St. Louis. Even if the city of St. Louis doesn't believe in you, I need you to believe in it so we can continue to move our communities forward and we can continue to create progression and development where we need it the most.
Man, like, hearing your responses, brother, my personal opinion, man, you're in your purpose. That's just me. Like, I really, really feel it, man, just how the sincerity and just your responses. So that leads me definitely to this next question. What sparked your interest in politics?
Oh man, we can talk for hours and hours about that. But I've always been interested in public service. I've always been interested in helping people. When I was a high school student, I had the opportunity to intern for 3 members of the Missouri General Assembly, our state legislator, the Missouri House of Representatives. And it just so happens that those 3 people I interned for were also Muslim. Representative Rodney Hubbard, Representative Talib Dean Al-Amin, and Representative and our future Senator, Jamila Nasheed. And interning for them and seeing what they do on a day-to-day basis, helping people, seen and unseen, the impact that they made in the lives of families, seeing that as a young high school student, that cultivated something in me and that inspired me. And in my head, I was telling myself, I want to do what they do. I want to create change the same way they create change. I want to help people the same way they help people. I want to be someone that people can depend on, because when you look at our communities here in the city of St. Louis, particularly the community that I have the honor of representing in the Board of Aldermen, The first person you call for anything is your alderman. I don't care whether it's an opinion on legislation or propositions, whether it is to get help on your on your utilities bill, whether it's to check on one of your loved ones that's incarcerated. You call your alderman, you call your elected official. And I wanted to be that person they called, because I knew that whoever they called, they had to care, and they had to make sure that they would do whatever they can to help that person. And I wanted to be that one. I wanted to be that guy.
Oh, beautiful, man. And it is interesting how you work in you were working in the office of people who were Muslim, you become the first Muslim alderman. Wow, God's hand is in it. And we have 5 minutes before we go to our next break, but I want to get this question in, because in the Nation of Islam we talk about politics, and the Louis Muhammad mentioned 2 politicians, but you are not just a Muslim in the Nation of Islam, but you are also in the field of politics. So I would like to ask you this question. Can politics be used in a way to help improve our communities, and even in the work of resurrection of our people? How can it be used? Let me ask you that.
Yes, a wonderful question, Brother Minister. Absolutely. Politics plays a role in the spiritual development, the mental development, the social economical development of our people and of our communities. It is not the end all be all for us, but it does play a role. It plays a significant role in giving our communities and our people the resources and the tools that we need to thrive and to succeed. One of the things that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said in Message to the Black Man was, we need Muslim politicians. We need politicians like Adam Clayton Powell. Although he wasn't a Muslim, he resonated with the Black community. He fought for the Black community, and he was not afraid to tell the government and people outside of the Black community what we need to be successful as a people, as a nation, as a collective neighborhood, as one ummah. He was not afraid to speak to that. And that's what we need today. People to represent us to the best of their ability, people to speak to our issues, our concerns, people who understand the experiences and the plight that we have gone through, from slavery, from Jim Crow to post-Jim Crow. That's the type of elected officials we need today. People who are unapologetic in what they believe in, and people who will stand up for what they believe in. So politics plays a role. Again, it's not our end all be all. We are not looking for the president to save us, or our local mayor, or our local city council person or alderman. They're not to save us, but they are there to help us and to guide us and to make sure that we have everything that we need to uplift our communities and make it a decent and safe place to live, work, and play.
Man. Yo, beautiful, brother. Beautiful, man. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And what you said, and I asked you that question before we go to break, because I want others in the Nation of Islam to hear that, so it can begin to start expanding our understanding about politics and how it can be used. Because oftentimes we tend to hold up the negative aspect of the negative examples in politics and use that as a standard. But I'm glad you shared that, my brother. We're coming up on our first break. For those who are watching, make sure you share this. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you comment. And if you have any questions, we're going to try to get some questions in at the end. I know we normally don't do that, but type it in, comment, and we'll be right back to hear more of this testimony with our brother, Alderman, Brother John C. Muhammad.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps us to highlight solutions for a brighter tomorrow. Go to nnvnews.com/donate.
AsiaticMinds.com, the curriculum of study from the University of God's Mind. Education that enhances the quality of learning through a virtual school system. The science of mathematics, communication, and deductive reasoning. Our children are the future. Invest in your destiny. To enroll now, visit AsiaticMinds.com.
The hashtag Bank Black social media campaign made strides not only in revolutionizing how we bank, but also how we think. The movement inspired thousands of African Americans across the country to transfer or deposit millions of dollars into Black-owned banks. These are banks that will invest in urban communities, employ African Americans, support Black businesses, and inspire Black home ownership. This is a very proud moment for our culture as we are taking small, but significant, steps towards building Black power through Black wealth.
Please share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Follow us on social media at NNV News, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel at National Network View. I am Anissa Muhammad with nnvnews.com.
And we're back, brothers and sisters, with our brother Alderman, Brother John C. Muhammad. If you're like me, I'm definitely enjoying his responses, and I can't wait to ask him more questions. And my next question is, while preparing for this interview, I came across some of the policies and programs that you were able to sponsor and launch during your tenure in the office. And as I said in the beginning, prior to us going online, much of them, all of them are of great substance, brother, I must say. And we can't talk about all of them, but there's one I want you to talk about. And this is about the Ban the Box bill, I believe you sponsored. And my question I want you to answer is, what made you introduce that bill? And if you can explain just what the Ban the Box is.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brother Minister. A great policy to pick. Ban the Box. I introduced that legislation to advance economic opportunities to our communities. What Ban the Box does is it prohibits any employer in our city, any employer, big or small, 2 employees or 2,000 or 200,000. It prohibits any employer from asking about an applicant's past criminal convictions if it's not directly related to the job that they are applying for, right? When we look at the data of our communities, we know that asking about past criminal convictions affects people of color the most, people of color, particularly African Americans, right? And when they check that box, yes, I have a past criminal history, 9 times out of 10, that application is being shoved to the back of the file cabinet or it's going in the trash can. So now this person who has paid their debt to society, who has went through the criminal justice system, now they don't have the same access to social economical opportunities like many others. So when I introduced Ban the Box, it was to give our people and people who are looking for a second chance, people who have paid their dues, paid their debt, went through the criminal justice system and came out and are now looking to rejoin society. It was to give them a second chance. It was to give them the tools that they need to support their families, have a good paying job or high wages, and to make sure that we are not discriminating against these people who are part of our community as well. Introducing that legislation was not easy. We tried a few times, and by the grace of God, Allah, we were honored and fortunate enough to pass it a few years ago, and it has made a tremendous impact because again, past criminal convictions on employment applications, it affects our people the most, innocent and uninnocent, people who have done 2 days or 20 years. We have to make sure that when they come out of that justice system or injustice system, we have to make sure that they have the same access to become successful, civic-minded residents in our community.
Beautiful, man. We thank you for that work because, that also plays a role and help to reduce and deter crime as well. And, when I had the opportunity to visit the city of St. Louis, I noticed that the relationship that you have with a brother who I consider to be one of my mentors in in the Nation of Islam. And I'm talking about student minister, Brother Donald Muhammad. So can you talk about how he has helped you in your growth in Islam and even in your walk in the world of politics?
Wow. Oh man, seeing that picture almost brought tears to my eyes. That was at Savior's Day together. My student minister. He means so much to me. He is a father figure. And oftentimes when we get upset at each other, Brother Benz, I hope he's not watching right now. But when we get upset at each other, I would say, okay, Dad, bye, and hang up the phone. And when he gets upset at me, he would say, see you later, son, bye. But he means so much to me. And he has played a tremendous role in my life, in my spiritual development of Islam. When I joined the Nation of Islam, my perception of it was a little off. It was a little indifferent. It was a little imbalanced. My take on life was imbalanced. And he brought me in, and he continued to nurture me, bring me closer to the bosom of Islam, and make sure that I understood scripture, make sure that I understood the teachings of the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He means so much. I tell you, if I don't talk to him one day, I know I'm going to talk to him the next. If I don't see him on Monday, I know I'm going to see him on Tuesday. But he has played a tremendous role in my life and in my spiritual development. And I cannot thank Allah enough for him and for what he means to me and my family. Because without him, I would not be as successful as I am.
Praise be to Allah. He's such a knowledgeable brother. And I've told this to him before, man. His understanding of the political world is just amazing, man. And it's something that more people need to have the opportunity to benefit from internally and even outside of our nation as well. In preparation for this interview, I do a lot of preparation and research. One of the things that I noticed is that while reading about you online, your affiliation as a member of the Nation of Islam, as a student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you don't tuck it. You don't tuck it. And I saw one of your Facebook posts which you said about, hey, if anybody wanted to know, this is what I am. So my question to you is, what has allowed you to do so? And you don't run from that. And how have you handled, if you've ever encountered any pushback as a result of that? How have you handled the pushback?
Man, it's difficult. It is difficult. It is tedious because people will try you. People will test you. People want to put you on blast being a Muslim, let alone being a Muslim in the Nation of Islam and a follower of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But Allah is sufficient. I don't hide it. I don't suppress it. I'm not into that, because if it was not for him, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, if it was not for his teachings, if it was not for his love, if it was not for his sacrifice, I would not be here. I would not know who I am. I doubt that I would want to serve my community. It's because of him that I'm interested in doing these things. That man who I love, that man who is the Lord of my life, that man who is our shepherd. It's because of him that I'm able to stand up and fight, that I have the motivation and the inspiration to fight for the community that I live in. It's because of his teachings. And it is tough. It is, being in St. Louis, a Catholic populated town. It is not the most popular thing to be a member of the Nation of Islam, but because of the love and the support of the believers, because of my support of my local student minister, Donald Muhammad, because of the support of our student captain, because of the support of the at-large Muslim community, I can proudly and firmly stand up and say Bismillah Rahman Rahim and make no hesitation about it. But it's understanding who you are, understanding what you believe in, not conforming to what they want you to believe in, not adjusting your core beliefs, not adjusting your principles, but standing up to them. Because at the end of the day, one of the things that I truly believe in is my community loves me or supports me, hopefully, because I am unapologetic about who I am. And I am John Collins Muhammad, a member of the Nation of Islam, a student, assistant minister under student minister Donald Muhammad. I don't hide that. I can't hide that. To hide that would be blasphemy. It would be a shot in the heart to myself and to my family.
And beautiful. And let me ask you this question, because I know the mischief makers who will try to use your affiliation in the Nation of Islam, not your membership in the Nation of Islam, as to cause trouble and try to say he's only going to look out for Black people, whatever. But I know, and I can hear from you, that as you look out for all of your constituents, right? And can you talk about how, of course, we know that you are concerned about the Black community, because that's probably most of the people that are voting for you, but that doesn't stop you from looking at all of your constituents, no matter, regardless of their race, their all of the backgrounds. Can you just talk about that?
Absolutely. I represent a diverse community, Muslim and non-Muslim, white and Black. I represent roughly 15,000 people that I am elected to represent and serve in our city. And not all of them believe in the Nation of Islam. Not all of them believe in Black empowerment. Not all of them believe in the policies in the legislation that I support and put forth. But the common denominator is they believe that our city has to progress. And the only way for our city to progress is to provide economic opportunity to the communities and to the people that have been left behind, the people that have been disadvantaged from day one, the people who have been left out to slaughter. And that is Black people in North St. Louis. And again, I represent North St. Louis. My job is to make sure that we are bringing resources back home. My job is to make sure that we are bringing real economic development. My job is to make sure that they have a voice in City Hall who will stand up and fight for them, even when it's unpopular, even when it can bring some discord and some tension. Being a member of the Nation of Islam, I've experienced that tension. I've gotten hate mail. My wife gets hate mail. My staff gets hate mail. We get death threats. But Allah is sufficient in all of our affairs. So the one thing that I pride myself on is making sure that we represent every faction of the community, that we represent every person that calls North St. Louis home, every person that calls the 21st Ward home, whether you want safe schools, whether you want quality housing, whether you want real substantial government reform. My job is to bring that to you. My job is to make sure that you have it. And that's been my goal since day one.
Beautiful, brother. You got my vote, man. Is there any way I can vote from New Orleans? Still, you got my vote. You got my vote, man. So we're coming up on our next break, brothers and sisters. And if you're like me, I know you're enjoying this interview. Hit the like button, hit the heart button, hit the emoji so we can see how you're enjoying it. Post your comments, and we'll be back to have more of this interview with our brother Alderman, brother John C. Muhammad.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps to combat false media. Cash App NNV News.
AsiaticMinds.com, the curriculum of study from the University of God's Mind. Education that enhances the quality of learning through a virtual school system. The science of mathematics, communication, and deductive reasoning. Our children are the future. Invest in your destiny. To enroll now, visit AsiaticMinds.com.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
Thank you for tuning in to NNV News. Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. Follow us on social media at NNV News, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, National Network View. This is Clifton Muhammad with NNVnews.com.
Muhammad's economic blueprint, the collective power of our dollars to build a future for ourselves. With 5 cents a day, 35 cents a week, $1.40 a month, and $18.20 a year multiplied by 16 million wage earners would give us $291 million in 1 year. Everyone can give 35 cents a week as an investment in our future. Donate now and see what our pennies, nickels, and dimes can accomplish. Visit economicblueprint.org.
And we're back to continue this interview with our brother Alderman John C. Muhammad. And I want to ask you this next question. I came across this picture, which is going to be displayed on the screen, and it's you with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Can you share with us how this picture came about, and was there any special takeaway or words, that the minister shared that you can share with the audience?
Oh man. We were traveling to Chicago. My student minister, Donna Muhammad, had to meet with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and we're driving to Chicago. We just left Mosque Miriam, and we're heading to the palace. And I tell my student minister, you go in, sir, I'm gonna wait right here for you. And 30 minutes go by. I get a call from my student minister. He says, come in. And I'm like, come in where? In there? And as I hung up the phone, I get out the car, I walk up to the gate, and my heart is racing. I'm sweating, my heart is racing, I'm fidgeting, I can't stand still. I walk up to the door. The brother opens the door, Assalamu alaikum. And I could not say Assalamu alaikum back. My mouth, I was saying in my head, but the words would not come out. I go in, and the minister is there, and all I could do is bow in submission as I'm with him, I'm with him in his home. And to me, it is a surreal moment. Like this cannot be happening. I am in the home of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the home of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm in the palace, and he says, how you doing, brother? And I'm trying to say Assalamu alaikum again, and the words would not come out of my mouth. And our international representative, Student Minister Akbar Muhammad, was also there, and he says, he's trying to say Assalamu alaikum, brother minister. And I immediately grab the minister's hand and I kiss it, and I say, this is an honor for me. And he says, no, brother, the honor is mine. And I started crying. And he grabs me and he holds me. He says, it's okay, brother, let it out. And I let it out. And we did not talk long. We talked very briefly. And he told me about the world that I am entering, the world of politics, the world of government. And he says, stay true. That was his advice to me. Stay true. And I said, yes, sir. He said, are you a member of the Nation of Islam? I said, yes, sir. Are you my follower? I said, yes, sir. He said, no, sir. You are a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad through me. And I said, yes, sir. He said, are you? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I am. Do you believe in the Holy Quran? Yes, sir. Do you believe in message to the black man? Yes, sir. Then you'll be okay. Allah is sufficient for all of your affairs. If you believe in him through the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I said, yes, sir. And he told me, when you come back here, I want to see you. And I said, yes, sir. And he says, when I go to St. Louis, I want to see you. And I said, yes, sir. Then he said, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Wow, that's beautiful. That leads into this next question, because I know after that you mentioned to me that you've had several other meetings with him, with others. Was there anything else that you can share from those meetings? Any additional guidance that he may have shared with you from the teachings, from the Quran, from the, from what we believe in, from history, that has helped you as a public official?
Absolutely. He told me that in order to serve your people, you have to love them. Whether they believe in what you believe in, whether they like you or not, whether they voted for you or not, whether they praise you or criticize you, you have to love them. Showing them love is showing me love, and showing me love is showing your faith in Allah. And so I knew that with all the criticism, with all the slack talk, with all the gossip, with all the backroom conversations, with all the critics, and with all the hate, if I don't love the community I serve, I'm doing an injustice to them and to the man that I believe in unequivocally, and to the community that I love. I'm doing an injustice if I don't love them. And that was the one thing that always resonated with me throughout every conversation, throughout every meeting, throughout every informal consultation. Love your people, Brother John, and they will love you. He told me that there's a scripture in the Quran that says, when you stand up for your people, they will stand up for you like a wall made of brass. As long as you serve them, no harm can come to you. But as soon as you serve anybody else other than them, you're in for a world of awakening. So love your people and serve them. Even though it is hard to serve and love our people, you have to anyway. This is the job you asked for. This is the job that Allah gave you. Do your job.
Beautiful, Brother John. And I would like to ask you this question, man. That right there, so many can hear that response, and we can benefit from it, because as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, and I shared this with our city the last 2 Sundays, he said, in this dispensation, that's one of the things that gets us value in the eyesight of the Savior, is our love for the people who we came to save. And I want to ask you this, because I know that there are others in the nation who may watch this, or watching it now, or may watch it later, that have aspirations also to in the field of politics, right? What advice would you give to any member of the Nation of Islam who may be interested in pursuing some position in the field of politics? Because I know I just met a young brother he's in Detroit now. He just cast his name to try to pursue some political office as well.
Man, we got to do it. We have to do it. And it's funny that you mentioned Detroit, because what immediately came to mind was, we was in Savior's Day for Detroit. And not too long ago, and City Council President Brenda Jones, she said that when the nation comes home, crime goes down. When the nation comes home, hope goes up. When the nation comes home, people come home. They come back to the city of Detroit. It's up to us. We have the teachings. We have the supreme wisdom. We have the hope. We have the capability to serve our people. Master Farad Muhammad said, all or none. Again, this is only a dimension to grab our people, to bring them closer to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, bring them closer to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Doing this work, we need Muslims. We need people who believe in representing and serving their community, right? Again, whether you're Christian or Muslim, right? If Jesus and Muhammad was here during the same time, they will hug and kiss each other. We need elected officials who believe in that. We need elected officials who will hug and kiss each other the same way Jesus and Muhammad would. We need elected officials who will stand up and fight for their community and bring us the promise that they are supposed to be in. I would encourage any member of the Nation of Islam to run for office, because you already have it. You have it in you. Master Farad Muhammad went door to door selling gold and silk. Well, your gold and silk is the wisdom in which you have through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We need you. Your community needs you. And it's not just you, but it's what you represent. It's the knowledge that you have, and it's the man that you represent. And once they see you, they will come. If the people can't come to Muhammad, then Muhammad will go to the people.
And we have a couple of more minutes before we end it, but I want to ask you two more questions. One, I want to return back to that question so you can talk more about some of the policies and just the stuff that you've done under your tenure. I know there were two things. There was one that I read about how in the freezing cold, you came out and gave a press conference, I think, about some type of shelter that you were asking them to build. And then there was something else that I found that was very interesting, where people were able to purchase blighted property. Like, can you talk about those, what you did?
Absolutely, Brother Minister. Back in 2018, we have a serious homeless epidemic problem in our city. We have over 10,000 homeless people in the city of St. Louis that populate and flood our streets. And we knew that something had to be done. It was freezing cold, dead set winter. The temperature is below, 30 degrees. So I got together with some community partners. I got together with a local pastor who loves the minister. He was a pastor in the AME Church, Pastor Stephen Shepherd of St. Peter AME Church. And we opened up the doors of that church to the unhoused and homeless population, where we served over 300 people and over 300 families. We operated a homeless shelter for almost 200 days without any government financing, without any grants. We did it because we knew that if we did not do it, then nobody else would. If we did not do it, then these people, these children, these families, these women, they will be left out in the cold to fend for themselves. And we knew that we had to act. We knew that we had to address it. We knew that we had to be bold and creative. So we opened the doors of the church and allowed them in every day, not only giving them shelter and giving them cover, we gave them resources. We helped people find jobs. We helped people find alternative housing and temporary housing. We helped people that had mental health issues. We did whatever that we could to make sure that the predicament they are in now, that they won't be in for much longer, or the predicament or situation or circumstances that they are in now, that they can come out of it and walk into a better situation. And again, that was made possible through a great collaboration and partnership. Pastor Steve Shepherd, and he suffered because of that. I want to be real. He suffered because of that. When he opened up the doors of his church, not only to the Muslim community, when I say that, I mean me, but to the unhoused, he lost membership. He lost financial support.
Wow.
He lost the support of his superiors in the church.
Wow.
I want to be real.
Wow.
But he knew that I love my community. And the community that he was pastoring in, he loved it too. So he made a sacrifice. And he's still paying for that sacrifice today. He still is. He's not the pastor of that church right now. Not yet. Hopefully he comes back home. And I know he's watching. But he made a sacrifice. But that was because he loved that community. And that's what it's all about. Sacrificing for the greater good. Sacrificing for the bigger picture. Sacrificing for the higher purpose. So we operated that shelter for 200 days. And the families that we served are more thankful than you can ever imagine. I still get letters and emails and thank you cards from the families that we helped almost 3 years ago. I still get thank you cards and phone calls and seeing them on an everyday basis just out in the community. And they make it plain and they make it known that if it was not for the work that we did, if it was not for the love of Pastor Shepherd and opening up his doors as the shepherd of that house, then they would be in a far worse condition than they could ever imagine. So
we thank you and brother and Pastor Shepherd for the work that you all have done, and we pray for his return to the church or some church. And as we get ready to close, I want this last question: if there was anything that you wanted to share that you didn't get a chance to share during this interview, you have the opportunity to.
Man, you must have done this a few times because you asked all the right questions. I don't have anything to share that you have not asked already. But I do want to thank you, Brother Minister, for your leadership.
Praise be
not only as a student minister, but as a community leader. I know you're no stranger to politics either down there in the great city of New Orleans.
Praise be.
So I want to thank you for all that you have done and will continue to do for our people. And I look forward to coming to New Orleans.
Yes, sir.
Believers of Muhammad, Mosque number 46, and being with you. And again, I thank you, and I'm so humbled that you thought enough of me to chose me for this interview process. I'm humbled, and I promise you, when I hang up this call, I'm probably going to call my wife and say, "Did you see me? Did you see me? How did I?"
Baby, I made it. Nah, man, we thank you, brother. I thank you, and I really enjoyed this interview and just listening to your responses, Brother John. It's like I just got a feeling there's some big things coming your way, man. Big things. I know I don't know all the political whatever, but I just see that you have a bright future, man. Continue to stay on the path that you're on, man, and whatever we can do to help you, brother, we'll appreciate it. And may Allah continue to bless you, your family, and your constituents.
Thank you. Thank you, Peace. Brother Minister.
Yes, sir. Peace, my brother. Thank you.
Walaikum
salam and Ramadan Mubarak as well.
Ramadan Kareem.
And for those who are watching, we thank you all for tuning in. And inshallah, we're going to start trying to use the last segment of the show to take questions from our viewing audience. So that's why we're asking if you have questions in the future to continue to type them in, and we're going to try to get them in. We thank you all. Make sure you hit the subscription, the subscribe button on Miles number 46 and NNV. And also make sure that you leave some comments and share this interview. I know people are out on Resurrection Sunday, or people call it Easter Sunday, but share this on YouTube. You can share the link on Facebook. You can share the link. You can share it on Twitter. Share it because more people need to see the wealth of talent that we have in our nation. And Brother John is an example of that. So may Allah continue to bless each and every one of you all. This is your brother Willie Muhammad, signing off from I Have a Testimony live here on NNV Network News.
Go home and study. See, many of you don't study your religion. Go ahead. And you think you're going to attain something without study. But if you believe in something, you need to study it so you can become proficient in what you do. Now watch this.
God came to us to seek and to save that which was lost. He raised a man from among us.
He, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, laid the foundation. What I'm doing is something that comes from him through me, and the thing that he uses in me to do the work is my faith in him and the word that he taught. To produce men and women who wanted to clean up their life and build an independent nation for the glory of God.